So I want to start the week off on a high note. I want to start with some very addictive games I found myself playing recently, some in which to a detriment that I can't explain, to be honest. But anyway, I'm Nima, and today let's talk about two incredibly addictive games that are ruining my life. But before we get into that, I have some breaking news. So it was just reported that there is a link between incredible happiness, coolness, and large male genital growth, and clicking the subscribe and like button. I don't know, if any of it's true, any of it lines up, but it's free for you to do it and try it, and I don't know, let me know. Or don't, honestly. Anyway, so what's kind of funny is my wife had never heard of Bayonetta. Never before. Recently, she discovered, oh hey, I kind of look like this character, so now she took over my Nintendo Switch OLED and has been playing Bayonetta 3 constantly. Because that's the kind of gamer my wife is. Well, that led me to try to find something else, and lo and behold, I did. I fired up the Xbox Series X, decided I was going to check out what's going on gamepass, and found a game called Vampire Survivor, which is a really weird game, to be honest. In fact, there's only one control, and it's just the left analog stick. There is no attacking, but it is one of those games where you just get surrounded by enemies very quickly, but your character will attack every second or so. It kind of depends on what character you use, but there is no button mashing or anything like that. In fact, it's sort of a rhythm you get into, which is kind of interesting. The big part of the game, though, is leveling up, because you see, whenever you level up, you have the ability to gain either a skill or ability or a permanent upgrade, and these things can really change the entire outcome of the game. Like, I personally like to just upgrade my King James Bibles. I just get so many of them going around. And after a while, I'm just like a death cyclone to all of these hordes of vampires and monsters. And the entire point of this game is just to last 30 minutes. And most guys can tell you that's not as easy as it seems. And no matter how much you think about baseball, it's not going to help you in this game, because there is just hordes and hordes of monsters coming at you. And it's one of those things where you can see a light at the end of the tunnel on some of the runs, but on others, you were just screwed from the get, which makes it so much more, I would say, addictive, because you're just waiting for that RNG to smile upon you, and you can finally have the proper skills that you need or the upgrades that you want. And it just seems like this game goes so fast that you're over before you even know it. And you're ready to start another run, and you're looking, okay, it's only been, I made it 4.5 minutes this time. I made it 10 minutes this time. And as addictive as that loop is, the other aspect of this game is the strategy. Because you can use different characters, you can unlock different characters, and characters all have different stuff. Like, some of them, they attack quicker. Some of them just deal more damage. Some of them put out an aura around them that not only injures the vampires, but also pushes them back. And so there's a bunch of different aspects of this game that have you finding the next blade, and that being your biggest concern. Ultimately, Vampire Survivor is a game that I hope does not come to the Switch, because my god, if this thing comes to the Switch, I'm done. This game is just so addictive and so fun. Now, the other game I want to talk about is a game called Ravenous Devils, where you essentially have the same entrepreneurship that the Waltons do, or Jeff Bezos, as there's really only one point to this game, and that is to make money. That and kill people. You see, you own a pub, you are a tailor, and you also own a gigantic building that has a massive kitchen underneath and room for a nice garden in the very top of the building. But what do you do when you can't find meat? Or you can't find fabric? Well, easy. It's just walking around out there. As you play as a husband and wife team, the husband is the tailor, and he often does measurements for his customers. Well, he also stabs them in the throat quite often, takes off their clothes, re-sews them, throws the body all the way down the trap door, goes into the kitchen where the wife will lovingly put the body into a grinder and make food out of it. So you're constantly going back and forth between the wife and the husband, making clothes or preparing food and waiting on customers. Ultimately, though, getting that green, and that's the most important thing about the game. It does have some really interesting story points and some incredible dark humor. This game reminds me of Sweeney Todd, which is one of my favorite musicals. And no, it's not because of Johnny Depp. I actually don't like Johnny Depp. It has nothing to do with the Amber Heard stuff. It's just he's a fake guitar player, and that irritates me. But throughout this game, you have upgrades you can get. You can continue to make your customers' wait more pleasant. You can hire help. And then there is an actual storyline where there's a few people who know what you're doing. And maybe they want to abuse you a little bit. Maybe they want to, make your life a little bit more difficult while making theirs easier. Maybe turning you into a hired assassin, essentially. There's a lot of aspects to this game that are really fun, but honestly, it's just the managing that I really enjoy. In this, multi-level building of being, tailor sailor to being a murderer to being a chef and being a waiter. And just going back and forth through all that stuff and balancing that out. Before you know it, a day in this game goes by like nothing. And you're constantly just trying to like worry about another upgrade or trying to build onto something as you're just running around like a chicken with your head cut off, as it's incredibly fast paced at times where you're going back and forth between different food that customers want. You're trying to fill your display cases. You're trying to get your clothing sewn and put on your mannequins. And honestly, there's a lot of times there'll be customers waiting on you just to slit them in the throat, and you just don't have the time to get to them. But no, ultimately, this game is incredibly addictive. I can't really explain why, because I've played a ton of these like sim type games, but this one really just has like a very unique, dark story. At the same time, though, it's pretty funny and it's got some real interesting aspects to it. I really enjoy it, and I think like right now it's like $3 or $4 on the eShop, Nintendo eShop that is. So it's definitely worth a pickup. Because the graphics look good. A lot of it looks really good. The writing is done really well, maybe even too well because it's kind of boring at times. No, it's not boring. It's just there's a lot of reading if you want to. But anyway, those are just two super addictive games that I've been playing the last week or so, and I just can't stop playing them. But anyway, I'm curious what your thoughts are on those games. Have you heard of them? Are you thinking about getting them? By the way, Landon, over at Exploring Game Pass, you need to check out the Vampire Survivor. That game is amazing. And all of you guys need to check out Exploring Game Pass's channel. Landon does a great job there. He has like a lot of different games that he kind of puts on a little bit of a spotlight, which, to be honest, it's really difficult with Game Pass because there's just so much stuff. So his channel is like a nice, like, just haven you can go to, kind of cut through the crap a little bit. But anyway, aside from all that, I appreciate each and every one of you guys. Like always, I'm wishing you health, wealth, and above all, I hope you're truly happy because you make me happy. Bye-bye.